Hey everybody, Mike Fifer, Fifer Hobby Supply again. We're gonna. This is gonna be a short one tonight because I've spent a lot of time cleaning up and stuff in here, and I know it won't look like it, but I have. And I'll show you some stuff that I've put out on the layout. Some of the buildings that I'm going to get rid of, which will not go on the vintage page. Buildings are too hard to ship. I'm going to try and sell those locally. Some of the pre-made buildings that I'm going to get rid of that are woodland scenics, I may put them on the site and ship them. Also, just as a precursor, I came across in one of these estates an Atlas Shea. I'm going to be putting it on the vintage page for $200. It is, I think it's painted and unlettered, or it may be a Lima, maybe painted in Lima. I don't know. But I've got a couple locomotives, 2 or 3 locomotives that I'm going to put on there and sell. And I've got some new cars on the vintage page, and I'm going to be putting some new cars on the vintage page. Although I'm this close to getting rid of all of the stuff that I had. Now I have some stuff, but I haven't gotten it on there yet. So anyways, that's where we stand on that. And I'll free your brain from my voice just keep going on. Okay, gang, here's kind of a haphazard template of how this will be or go. It's not quite as wide this way as I wanted it to be, but it's okay. It's the size of my template, and I think it's going to be just fine. Of course, it's sitting lower than it should be, but I'm just trying to get an idea of the size of it and the walkability here. And it seems like that would be an optimal size. I have plenty of walking space in between here. I've got both my elbows out and I'm barely touching each side. Plenty of room between it and the bench over there. Plenty of room between the chair. There's at least 3 foot in between here. And that's kind of what it would look like. Okay, I came out here today. I saw my pieces of brass, and I figured if I don't get them out and put them on the track, I'm never going to get around to painting them. The back one is obviously a Jordan spreader. The front one is a steam-powered ditcher. I've had these for quite some time. Just never got around to painting. Anyways, another thing I did was lay some structures out here that I know I'm going to keep that aren't necessarily in where they go yet, but they're out here. I did find, I was working on a sander, and lo and behold, I forgot I had this little sander. That little building there needs to be weathered a little bit. I've got the piles of ties, piles of rails. I've got a lot of stuff to put around out here. I just got to get around to doing it. Now, what I want to do is I want to make sure I'm done doing scenery in the back there. And what I'm thinking about putting poles on the other side of the track over there. And it would just be telegraphed, so there would only be a couple of wires, 2 or 3 wires on it, 4 wires, 2 or 4 wires. But I just think it would really make that background look cool. I have a bunch of poles. I have a bunch of easy line. So I'm not sure about that yet, but that's a thought that's in my head. I've already got it ballasted, so we could just move on from there. just work my way out. I don't know if I'd put any along this either one of these other two tracks, and I don't know if that would look goofy or not. So I'm torn. If I put it in the middle, it could serve two of those tracks. I just don't know. I don't know if I want to go to that much trouble yet. Maybe later on someday I'd have to lean across the scenery to put them in. I could make them up in advance and then just put a little hole and glue them in place. It really wouldn't be that bad, but I don't know. You can get too carried away, and then you have 8,000 poles, then you can't service your track. So as much as I'd like to see it look a little more realistic with the telegraph poles, I'm not too sure that's going to happen. But anyway, as I said, buildings sitting out here, things sitting out here. I found my oil pump, my Walther's oil pump. Found those 3 tanks. I don't know. Like I said, they're just sitting there. Robin, I mentioned the Santa Fe sign. She got me one, but it's just absolutely huge. I think it might look kind of cool behind behind those buildings up there or something, back off in the background. I'm not exactly sure. I'm not sure if I'm going to use it or not use it. It's just so large. We'll see. But that remains to be seen. I'm torn on that one. Of course, I got my woods furniture out here. I'm going to change the lettering color on the woods furniture. Maybe make it red or something, just so it doesn't look as familiar as it does. I've had that building for a long, long time. Can't hardly throw away or get rid of the taco stand. I'm only keeping this Woodland Scenics building because, not Woodland Scenics, help me here, DPM, because I have the telephone logos on it. It's a telephone building, and I have a bunch of telephone trucks, and I have a bunch of cable reels. And since that's what I used to do for a living, that's what I'm thinking about doing with it somewhere. This church, you guys all know the story on this. I believe this was a Hallmark Christmas tree ornament. I took all the Christmas stuff off of it, cut it off, ground it off, ate it off, whatever I needed to do to get it off of there. And then I put the new roof on there. And now it just kind of looks like a Southwestern church. I like it. It's staying. Aside from that, I don't have too many things out here on top of the layout. I have put some things in drawers here that I intend on keeping. These particular structures right here might go to a friend of mine. I have this one angled. I have another front and I have another back. I will not be using the McDonald's, but I am not getting rid of it. This bank building I'll get rid of. This building I may get rid of. That building I don't know. The Greyhound bus depot will stay because I like it. I'm keeping this tunnel portal that was on the old layout just because I might use it somewhere. Got another pump jack. These are all just shed type buildings, and this building is a wood kit, and this is Robin's. It doesn't have a sign on it because it used to face the other way, but that's Robin's Grain and Feed, and there's another part to that in another cabinet over here. And I have the Temple Theater, which I scratch built the sign and everything, so I have a hard time getting rid of that one. Robin's Bowling Alley. There's the other two Downtown Deco buildings. There's all of the motel. Can't get rid of that. Anyway, just some stuff. And there's a bunch of stuff in there that I don't think I can get rid of, at least yet. Maybe someday, but not yet. My curved bridge is in there. I'll open this up. all the 3D printed stuff from Whistle Stop, which I intend on using some of. You guys know that all the things in there are the junkyard. All these houses and buildings here and are staying. And I am going to try this curved ice house. Let's talk about that for a second. Let me get down here. That won an award at one of the NMRA conventions for a square foot module, a little square footer. It's got a lot of stuff on it right now, but what I'm thinking about doing is if I can rescue that off of there, I'm going to use that as the ice dock up here outside of Schmelly Meats. It's actually kind of a cool looking table when you get it on the layout, but anyways, moving on. That's a pre-made right there. It's post office, the post office from Woodland Scenics. I'm not a big fan. I guess I don't want a bunch of pre-made buildings out there. I want the buildings to be different than ones that everybody can spend a fortune on and buy. So, but I just love the fact that it's a post office. It's going to stay. My curved bridge down there, I am probably never going to use it on this layout. However, I just can't bear to get rid of it. Schmelly Meats is right back there. And I have the car lot. The car lot is staying. Don't know where it's going, but it's staying. The mine building might get some adjustment and become part of the potash area. There is a building down in there, you guys, in that container. You guys would recognize it. I don't know what the manufacturer or the building actually is, but I had it up here on the last layout, which is not that far back. And then Gavin built that grain elevator, so we're gonna put that out there. There's some. Is that more of the? No, that is not Sierra Madre Packers. That is the liquor distributor. So that one will go out there. Anyways, just stuff that I think I'm going to be able to use. And because I have all these houses and all these little small buildings and stuff, I'm not sure. Hang on. Oh, let me get up. I'm not really sure. This area right here, I intended on filling up with, destinations for trains to do switching and so forth. Well, you know how it goes. You set up stuff for switching, then you don't do any switching. I already have several locations for switching. I've got those 3 buildings back there in the back. I've got the oil facility over here. I've got the engine facility over here. I've got the auction house there. I've got the junkyard there. And so you see my conundrum. And that is that I've already got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then I'm going to have Woods Furniture, 8. I'm going to have Schmelly Meats, 9, and I'm going to have the ice dock, 10, and the lumber facility, 11. I've already got 11 places to go switch. So do I need to fill that up? I could fill that up with buildings that relate to city and relate to truck traffic and relate to the telephone yard and relate to the church and relate to all the other things besides actually switching in. And that may not be a bad thing. I don't know. I've had a lot of switching opportunities before, and I've never done any switching on it. So we'll play that by ear. But I'd like to at least build a couple new industries and put them in over there to feed with rail. Just because I want to build some new structures and have some different things. But anyways, That's about it. I'm gonna back up here. It's kind of a mess because I had all that put away, but I got some stuff out for Robin. But the floor, before I got all this junk out here, the floor is all cleaned up, and I vacuumed today. So it's all cleaned up. Had to get my industrial scissors out to cut the cardboard. But I think now if I go get a piece of 2-inch foam, I can cut the outside of the 2-inch foam to that dimension right there, then hold it up there, and it'll be rigid enough to mark where the foam will go up against the fascia that's there. Then I can make a pattern for that so that the 2-inch foam goes up against that, and then I can take those tile off of there and raise it up and get it on some legs and stuff. But anyway, this is a preliminary. So anyways, I'm going to quit rambling, and we're out of here. Well, okay, everybody, that's it. That's all I have for you this week. I hope you enjoyed seeing just a little bit I've done and kind of where this idea over here is going. And by the way, I forgot to mention it in the beginning, so I'll mention it here at the end. And that is, I'm really liking, just like you guys have been saying, the way the bottom of the layout here is. And I have stored some more stuff even back behind there. It's a great storage place. By the way, I don't think I covered it in the last one. I think maybe I had the cabinet down there pulled out on the last video. I can't remember. But those casters are the cat's meow now. And having it up against the far right leg of the layout over there, I can just grab the other end of it and pull it out just like a door and bring it all the way across, and I have full access behind there. It takes 30 seconds. So that thing works like a champ, works like a charm. I can pull any 3 of these out right here to my left. I can pull 3 of those drawer cabinets out in a matter of 20 seconds and get to the stuff that's behind there. So it's just, I don't know why I didn't think of this earlier. But anyways, I'll let you guys go. Check out the vintage page, as I said in the beginning. And, well, we'll see you on another one. And there you are. Thanks for watching. Sorry, my fingernails and hands, I worked on the car. Okay, thanks for watching.